Call this May 10th Board of Education meeting to order and ask all of you to please stand and do the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Seeing no corrections to the agenda, your recommendation.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. I've got several items today. First of all, I'm going to start out with Mental Health Awareness Month. As you see it, those of people in the crowd can notice that our board members are wearing green today. We're wearing green to bring awareness to Mental Health Awareness Month. Also, with that, Mr. Wanda Williams could not be here today, but I'm going to ask Amanda Samples to please come forward, and she is going to share a video with Mr. Wanda Williams, our Director of Mental Health, about Mental Health Awareness Month.
So good afternoon. As you can see with all the green in the room, as Ms. Rosen said, we are here acknowledging Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. As outlined in our strategic plan goal 3, we know positive mental health is essential to a child's development. We're excited to share some of the great things happening in our district as part of the mental health initiative. Thank you for all of your support. And now here is our video.
Good afternoon. Today, our district, along with the nation, is observing May 5th as National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. As a district-wide initiative, our leaders are wearing green ribbons to symbolize the importance of children's mental health. DeSoto County Schools is dedicated to ensuring that all students have the necessary supports and services needed to be mentally healthy in our schools and our communities. We have employed 12 state board licensed clinicians who serve all 43 schools by providing mental health services and consultations to students and staff, along with our district social worker, Sarah Samples, who provides community resources and services that help to reduce or remove the number of barriers facing a student while he or she is on their educational journey. None of this would be possible without the leadership of our superintendent and our students. And for that, we say that.
Thank you, Ms. Samples. In that video, Ms. Tawana Williams, our Director of Mental Health, she does an outstanding job of working with our students and working with our counselors to address mental health concerns. We just started the mental health department back in 2018, and I'm so glad that we did, because now we're able to work with students before problems become severe and make sure that those problems are addressed and they have someone at the school that they can talk to. So even though Ms. Williams is not here today, I want to say on behalf of the school district, we thank her for all of her hard work with that. I want to thank everyone who's here in attendance today for supporting child's mental health awareness as we bring more focus on that subject. And at this time, we will move into the next portion. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week. And we want to always thank our teachers and all of our teacher assistants for all of their hard work. We also want to thank the sponsors who have reached out to our schools this past week and have provided snacks and meals and everything else for our teachers. Obviously, they deserve every week to be Teacher Appreciation Week, and this is the week that is being observed. With that, one of our sponsors is here today, Michael Parker from First Horizon Bank. If you remember from the Teacher of the Year program, First Horizon sponsored our teacher appreciation. They gave gifts to all of our teachers of the year from each of our 43 schools. And they are back today because they had some extra money and they were trying to figure out how to give it out. So they're going to have a drawing for $200, correct? And they're going to draw a name out of the hat here in just a minute from our teachers of the year, and one of them will receive that money. And I'll turn it over to Michael Parker so he can give a little more information on that.
Thank you for having us today. We appreciate it. Thank you for everybody being here. I want to just recognize the teachers and thank you for Jerry for putting this together. So we were able to give $100 to each of the recipients of the Teachers of the Year from the schools represented. And then the overall Teacher of the Year, Ms. Janae, she also received a $500 award. And so today we had a couple $100 left over. We want to do a random drawing where all the nominees get a chance to win some extra money. And we have a gift bag. It's got some goodies in there from Nothing But Cakes and Domino's Pizza and, you know, your favorite gift, the first Horizon Gear. So I guess we'll draw the name. I have with me Tommy Eldred. He is our financial center manager in South Haven. Does a great job for us. All right, I got to pick the right name, right?
That's why I stayed up here. I didn't let you go.
All right, here we go. Deanna Cole, HLES, is our winner. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I don't think y'all just want a picture of us.
Yeah.
Great, thank y'all. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no, thank you. Awesome. All right. April 27th was Administrative Professionals Day, and we want to recognize our Executive Assistant to the Board, Ms. Beth Ross. Please come forward at this time. I want to thank you. We appreciate all of your hard work.
You're very.
Thank you. With a round of applause from Ms. Beth. And now, next up, we're going to be recognizing students. I'll ask Mr. Doug Payne from Center Hill High School to come forward at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Usleton and board, for allowing us to recognize a student. We came down here earlier with a group and we added one to that group, so we want to make sure he got recognized. First, I want to introduce his PSAT teachers. Two of those are with us today, Miss Alicia Green and Miss Julie Perry. Y'all want to come up here? Teachers of the year, they didn't qualify. This young man has worked really hard and we're very proud of him. Matthew Nastasi.
Congratulations. Mr. Payne said we've been recognizing high schools at each of our board meetings. Today we'll be recognizing the 30-plus seniors from Lewisburg High School. I asked Principal Chris Perkins to please come forward.
Good afternoon, school board. Thank you so much for having us, Mr. Elston. Thank you. It's always my pleasure to get to do this one part of the job because I just get to be the spokesman to bring attention to these students that have worked so hard. And I also have a number of teachers who recognize they're here with us today. We know it's a team effort, and we do have great PSAP teachers, but some of these other teachers have been part of that process. So at the end, I'll call a number of them up to take a picture with us. So we'll start off today. I've got Ms. Tracy Hunter here handing out certificates to Mr. Russellton, and we'll start with Samuel Anderson. Andrew Ardlin. Callaway Bills. Right. Garrett Brown. Right. Tyler Brown. Brenna Becker. Right. Christopher Bolton. Amelia Bowers. Sadie Bridgeforth. Daniel Casino. Warren Everett. Harley Fullwood. Joshua Greganti. Owen Gunn. Sarah Howell. Malin Janovich. Riley Littleton. Bella Love. Andrea Mason. Mary Murphy. Blake Myers. Joshua Potts. Jake Rice. Benjamin Shuttleworth. Caleb Strong. Aaron Taylor. Caroline Teal. David Truitt. Owen Ware. Braden Williams. Anna Wood. Joshua Fisher. Evelyn Speck. And Gabrielle Young. If you're counting, there's 35 seniors that scored an 30 plus on the ACT from Lewisburg High School this year. That's a huge number. We're very proud of them. And at this time, I'd like to call up Lewisburg High School teachers who are up there to come up and be recognized. We got PSAT teachers, but I opened the invitation for as many of my teachers as I could possibly cover kids in the cafeteria this afternoon because it starts in ninth grade. It starts in ninth grade, and we have great teachers pushing them through. So I want to make sure they're recognized for helping these students achieve that benchmark. So, right, Mike.
Around, we're gonna get a picture, and I'm gonna let Mr. Perkins organize that.
All right, guys. Let's get one row to step up on the stage, please.
Yeah, let's use the stage. Yeah, use the stage.
Step up.
You might need to put 2 rows on the stage.
Don't sit back and maybe wait in such programs.
Yeah, let's put a second row on the stage.
All right, first row, back up, that's on the stage. The next, step up. You're all saying, get in a window, get in a window where.
Start this. Yeah. Hopefully it's two.
You can stay.
We got stairs, we have stairs. We don't need, we don't want to work. Watch out right there.
This hasn't been helping.
All right.
Y'all studio.
You guys make sure you can see your parents. So make sure.
Let's give another big round. I ran out of room there. Good problem to have. If you're with the Lewisburg students, if you would like to go at this time, you want to go with them, that'll open up some seating also. All right, glad to have you all. Congratulations. Congratulations, y'all. Yeah. Oh, yes, I know. Good to see you again. All right. Thank y'all for coming in. Good to see you again. Yeah. All right, so we have extra seating now, if you're looking for a seat. All right. Great. All right, next up, we've got, this is the first time we've had this recognition before. Now I'll ask our Director of English Learners, Ms. Stephanie Murley, to please come forward. She will tell you about seniors who are graduating the biliteracy student.
Good afternoon. And I've got Ms. Vivian Rory handing out certificates today. Mr. Usselton, this has seemed like it's been possible this year without her, so we were very appreciative of all her help with her students. The biliteracy seal was adopted in our district in 2020 of last year. In 2020 of last year, what the seal does is it recognizes students' proficiency in reading, writing, speaking, and listening in more than one language. So the students have the opportunity to obtain a silver seal or a gold seal on their high school diploma that employers and colleges will recognize as them being bilingual and biliterate. The State Department sets the criteria for that. So we are very excited because this school year we had 121 students test in over 7 different languages amongst our 8 high schools. We have 44 seniors graduating this year in Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, French, Portuguese, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. And so it's a huge accomplishment for the district. It's the largest number of seniors graduating in the state of Mississippi with the biliteracy seal. So very proud. Before we start recognizing our silver seal recipients, I would like to recognize 2 of our Career Tech West students. They are senior digital media students who actually designed the biliteracy seal for our district. So we have Kari Brown from Horn Lake High. And we have Ms. McKenna Mead from Hernando High.
Congratulations.
Recognize the Silver recipients. Our first one is from Horlick High, Benjamin Liu. From Hernando High, we have Daisy Aguilar. Brenda Loya. Roxana Gonzalez Luna. Juan Hernandez. From Lewisburg High, we have Naomi Bautista Anaya. Ariana Coleman. Jackson Foster. Bianca Velasquez. Christian Hefner. Bella Love. Gabrielle Young. From Olive Branch High School, we have Ashley Lowe. From DeSoto Central High School, we have Keegan Kennedy. And from South Haven High School, we have Valeria Orduna. Field recipients of the Violators of Field.
Let's get a group picture. If y'all come over here. Thanks. Parents, feel free to come up to the front. Congratulations.
And now we will recognize those graduating with the Gold Seal of Biliteracy Seal. First, from Horn Lake High, Virginia Buchanan. Jose Camarena. Casey Hurtado Lopez. Jasmine Reyes. Guillermo Vega Valencia Jr. Our first from Center Hill High, Nyla Karim. Stephanie Salcido. Now from Hernando High, we have Isabel Tania. Police. Stephanie Longoria Vasquez. From Lake Forward High, we have Justin Rodriguez. And Humberto Quintero. From Lewisburg High, we have Joshua Gregonzi. And Natalie Bueno. From Olive Branch High, we have Ethan Haggard. Eric Vasquez. From South Haven High, we have Melissa Guerrero. Joanna Lopez. From DeSoto Central High, we have Jana Abushai. Mariani Solis. And Helen Tran. These are our gold seal recipients for the Validation Seal.
All right, we'll take a quick photo right here. Have one line on the stage. Feel free to come up. Congratulations. A lot of very accomplished seniors will be graduating here next year. If you would like to go, now would be a good time to exit. You're welcome to stay, but we're about to get to the rest of the business.
Thank you all. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
That's a good thing. Love the space.
Mr. Marley, if you could come back up, I've got a couple of questions, or one question from our board. If you could explain to them the criteria for the two, for the silver and gold.
Yeah, so they have to score a minimum of an 18 or a 19 for the silver seal on the ACT, a minimum of 4 on the English 2 assessment, or on the ELPT, they have to score proficiency. They do have the option of a portfolio, but all of the students that are graduating this year are using their English 2 proficiency scores or the ACT. They also have to take a special assessment in that native language in all 4 domains that they chose to pay for themselves, and they have to score proficiency on that assessment. For the gold seal, they have to score a minimum of a 20 on the English portion of the ACT and a 5 on the AP and the English 2. So it's a lot of work. They worked really hard. The language assessment took almost 7 hours, and so it wasn't something that was given to them like.
Yeah, that's a wonderful group. No, thank you very much.
Great. That concludes the finally, my first one, I got another one.
Yes, I have. Attorney's report.
It works better when you trade it over.
Turn it on.
I have 2 matters to report on, both of which will be in executive session. One is a personnel evaluation matter, and the other is a property contract.
Ms. Jones, would you like to give this?
Yes, Ms. Riley. Yeah.
We're gonna get her on my cell phone, so.
Yes.
Ms. Riley? All right, we are about to start a vote. We've just had, we're after the attorney's report is where we are at this point. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Approval of minutes for the 21st meeting. Do I have a motion and a second to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Consent agenda, your recommendation A through H.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Chase, okay. It's Mr. Williams is not for.
Get the substitute today.
Okay. Hernando High School.
Bids were opened on April 26th for the new Hernando High School. Bids were received from 7 vendors. It is my recommendation to accept the low bid from McKee Construction.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the low bid from Key Construction for the new Hernando High School.
I have a motion to approve the bid of Hernando High School. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Contractual agreement with McKee Construction Incorporated.
Yes, ma'am, we're requesting permission to enter into a contractual agreement with McKee Construction Inc. for the new Hernando High School site.
Madam President, can I ask a question? Can you clarify what these bids were for?
Yeah.
These bids here, remember, we're gonna do this on a 2-phase. The first phase is actual where the school's gonna sit. This is just clearing and dirt work. So we'll come back to you in about 6 months with a new bid that will actually be the general contract with the school. This is just the site work.
Great, thank you for clarification.
Your recommendation on the construction.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Key Construction.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve McKee Construction for the dirt work?
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Driveway and ditch project, Grove Grove Central.
Yes, ma'am. Bids were opened on April 26th for the Oak Grove Elementary School driveway and ditch project. 5 vendors submitted bids, and it is my recommendation to accept the low bid from Barnes and Brower Inc.
Recommendations.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the low bid from Barnes and Brower for the driveway and ditch project at Oak Grove Central Elementary School.
Do I have a motion to approve the bid for driveway and ditch for Grove Central?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Contractual agreement with Brower and Brower.
Yes, ma'am. We're requesting permission to enter into a contractual agreement with Barnes and Brower Inc. for the Oak Grove Elementary School driveway and ditch project.
I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Barnes and Brower for the project at Oak Grove Central Elementary School.
Do I have a motion for contractual agreement with Barnes and Brower Incorporated, Oak Grove Central?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Flooring project at Olive Branch High School.
Yes, ma'am. Bids were opened on April 26th for the Olive Branch High School flooring project. Bids were received from 4 vendors, and it is our recommendation to accept the low bid from Barnes and Brower Inc.
Your recommendation, sir.
Madam President, I recommend that the board to approve the low bid from Barnes and Brower for the flooring project at Olive Branch High School.
I have a motion to approve bids for the flooring projects at Olive Branch High School. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Contractual agreement with Barnes and Brower.
Yes, ma'am. We're requesting permission to enter into a contractual agreement with Barnes and Brower Inc. for the Olive Branch High School flooring project.
Your recommendations.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Barnes and Brower for the flooring project at Olive Branch High School.
Do I have a motion to approve the contractual agreement with Lawrence and Brown Olive Branch High School program?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Balance sheet, Graves, you have the floor. Good afternoon.
Our revenue collections for March, for general fund is 239,659,901. We are up about 10% over last year. At this point, we were at $218,077,766. Again, same increases MAP and ad valorem, and currently are about 15% up over last year for our ad valorem. And our revenues for all funds are at $280,889,385, up 4% over last year. General fund expenditures through March are at $181,427,070. We continue to just rock along, 3% over last year, which is about, we are actually 2% less than we projected to be. General fund continues to benefit from the ESSER funds.
Recommendations are on the second revenue expenditure.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for March 2022.
Do I have a motion to approve the revenue and expenditure statement for March 2022?
So moved.
The second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Combined balance sheet for March 2022.
Fund balance for all general funds for March is at $171,887,439. We're about 20% higher than FY '21. Last year, we were at $142,044,286. The increase continues to be due to a combination of the millage transfer for general bonds, a transfer in to miscellaneous construction last year, so it kind of dilutes last year's amount. And there was a large transfer for debt service for certificates of participation. Last year, it was in March. This year will be in April, so it would have normally shown up in this month, but we actually paid a little bit early last time. So our all funds balance is at $223,090,842.
Thank you. Recommendations are.
Madam
Balance sheet.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for March 2022.
Do I have a motion to approve the combined balance sheet for March 2022?
So moved.
The second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Statement of cash flow for March 2022.
Our district maintenance cash balance is at $164,368,088. Our invested balance with Smith Shellnut is at $28,832,632. Our all funds cash balance is at $220,971,060.
Recommendations are on the cash flow statement.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for March 2022.
Do I have a motion to approve the cash flow statement for March 2022?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Certification of bank reconciliation.
All bank statements have been reconciled with another section.
Your recommendations, sir.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for March 2022.
Have a motion to approve bank reconciliation certification for March 2022.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Reynolds.
Please leave without a return on investment.
I'm not looking to change anytime soon. We've been very consistent, very consistent.
Councilman, stand. Ms. Ford.
All right. Board policy BJCD, time and attendance. We're asking to revise this policy to increase personal discretionary leave hours for instructional staff and to update language within the policy to align with the new electronic timekeeping system.
Your recommendation.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy DJCD, guidance for time and attendance.
The motion to approve the revised board policy, DJCD.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Revised board policy, GB. Absence from duty.
Yes, and we're asking to revise this policy to update language within the policy to better reflect state regulations as it relates to staff absence.
Your recommendations.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy GBRI for absence from duty.
Have a motion to approve the revised board policy, GBRI.
I make that motion.
Have a second.
I'll make that motion.
You second? You second? Second.
Did you second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. GB board policy, revised board policy ID. Hey,
Yes, and we're asking to revise this policy to include guidance and procedures for middle school students who are granted permission to play up and participate in varsity or sub-varsity activities at the high school level.
recommendations.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy IDFA for intramural scholastic athletics.
Do we have a motion to approve the revised policy IDFA?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Mr. Alexander, welcome back.
Great to be back.
We have missed you.
This place, I'm going to say. Hey, your personnel packet this afternoon is pages 1 through 4 recommendations, pages 5 through 8 of personnel changes. Page 9 is a memo from Dr. Flo, President Fernando Middle, on an employee to be marked inactive as a part-time tutor. Page 10 is a memo from Ms. Gauss, our special education director, requesting to reclassify a classified positive behavior specialist to a certified positive behavior specialist for the 22-23 school year. Page 11 is the principal salary for the 22-23 school year. Page 12 is the assistant principal salary scales for the 22-23 school year. Page 13 is a salary schedule for 22-23 school year for our chief operations officer, assistant superintendents, chief financial officer, executive director, directors, assistant chief financial officer, assistant directors, and executive administrative assistants. Page 14 is our salary schedule for the 22-23 school year for managers, specialists, special education supervisor, and special education assistant supervisor. Page 15 is the 2022-2023 substitute rates of pay. Page 16 is a memo for myself on the request to add one additional teaching unit to Pleasantville Elementary for the 22-23 school year. The position will be paid out of district funds and will be absorbed through attrition during the school year. Page 17 is a memo for Mr. Williams, our assistant superintendent, on the request to approve an additional unit for student services department. This will be effective July 18th. It will be for a hearing officer. It would be a 200-day contract, and they would be paid for the elementary assistant principal's pay scale. Page 18 through 19 is the disciplinary hearing officer job description. Page 20 through 24 is the 22-23 licensed salary scales. Pages 25 through 28 is the 22-23 specialist psychometrist, speech pathologist, audiologist pay scales. Page 29 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Samples, our executive director of academic support, for an employee to work up to 184 hours. And her hourly rate of pay for hours worked to prepare materials for the new school year is the lead teacher mentor. This will begin July 1st and the end of June 30th of 2023. Page 30 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Samples for another employee, same purposes, as a lead teacher mentor, those same hours. Page 31 is additional pay request from Ms. Hallmark, our director of child nutrition, for an employee who will oversee the summer feeding operations for the month of June. She'll be paid her daily rate of pay beginning 6/3/22, and that will end on 6/30/22. Page 32 and 33 is request for additional pay from Ms. Hallmark on the summer feeding child nutrition site staff. These employees will work a total of 161 hours, beginning 5/31/22 and ending 6/30/22 at $12 an hour. Pages 34 and 35 is request for additional pay from Ms. Hallmark for summer feeding child nutrition site monitors. These employees will work a total of 161 hours, beginning 5/31/22 and ending 6/30/22 at $14 per hour. Pages 36 and 37 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on our speech pathologist who will work during the summer on speech therapy evaluation and assessments, total of 320 hours, beginning 5/26 and ending 7/31. Page 38 is request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on an employee special education teacher for the visually impaired who will work over the summer on evaluation assessments for a total of 150 hours, beginning 5/26 and ending 7/31. Pages 39, 40, request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on a psychometrist who will conduct evaluations during the summer for a total of 750 hours, beginning 5/26 and ending 7/31. Pages 41 through 44 is request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on summer ESY employees who will begin on June the 3rd and end July 14th. Pages 45 and 46 request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on supplemental hours for pre-kindergarten staff during the summer to work on coordinating eligibility, writing IEPs. These employees work a total of 120 hours, beginning 5/26 and ending 7/31. Pages 47 and 48 request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on early interventionist teams to assess the pre-K students over the summer for a total of 600 hours, beginning 5/26 and ending 7/31. Pages 49 and 50 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Goss on audiology evaluations and assessments during the summer for a total of 300 hours to be worked 5/26 and 7/31. Page 51 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Carnahan, our payroll manager, on employee who will work as a summer worker for the payroll department, will be filing, completing separating steps for the 40 hours per week at $11 per hour, beginning June 6th and ending July 29th. Pages 52 and 53 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Haskins, assistant superintendent on high school counselors who will oversee the dual credit programs at their schools. They will work 40 hours beginning July 1st and ending June 30th, 23, being paid at their hourly rate. Pages 54 and 55 is request for additional pay from Mr. White, director of plant maintenance on high school summer grass cutters beginning June 1st and ending July 30th. That's for $1,000 per month, $2,000 per school. Pages 56 to 57 is request for additional pay from Mr. White, on director of plant maintenance on middle school summer grass cutters beginning 6/1/22 and ending 7/30/22 at $500 per month, $1,000 per school. And page 58 is a request for additional pay from Mr. President of JDC staff for the JDC staff to work on a summer remediation program that begins May 26th and ends July 14th for a total of 240 hours.
Thank you. Your recommendation.
Madam President, I recommend the board approve personnel as presented.
We have a motion to approve personnel as Mr. Alexander presented. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Student discipline, Mr. Finley.
Madam Chair, we have to do the disciplinary executive session.
As a board, we welcome public participation in our board meetings. While this is not a debate, settling for a question or an answer session, we reserve this time at our regular board meetings each month for public comment and for citizens who have requested to appear. Board policy allows 30 minutes for public comment. Do we have anyone who has signed up to speak? Seeing none. We have a request to be heard. Mr. Harley Brown?
Mr. Keith, is that for executive session? What is a facility use? Or facility usage, yeah, we do that executive session.
All right, we will call on you then for executive session. All right, I need a motion for consideration of closed session. Oh, you want to do that?
Okay.
Yes, I'm fine.
Right. Madam President, I've got 4 items for superintendent's report. We mentioned Teacher Appreciation Week earlier to thank the board for increasing the local teaching supplement that was in our personnel packet. The teacher supplement is on top of the money that teachers receive from the state. That's an increase of $620 to supplement for next year. That's the 3rd increase that our board has put forth in the last 5 years, and that will mean that all teachers will now in DeSoto County have a local supplement of over $5,000. So thank you for approving that. That will also, I believe now, a first-year teacher in DeSoto County Schools will make $46,500 with the combined raise that the state just gave, plus the $5,000 supplement. So I want to commend the board for your action there. Also, as one of the policies that Ms. Hasselman went over, our teachers will once again next year have 16 hours of personal discretionary leave. In the past, it was 8 hours. During COVID, we increased that to 16 hours for the 21-22 school year, but by passing the revision policy today, that will make that a yearly increase. So each teacher will have 16 hours of personal discretionary leave. This is something that our teachers enjoy because it gives them an opportunity if they want to go to their child's program, if they want to go have lunch with their child, some of those things where they don't have to take a half day of personal leave to do it. They can go take an hour or two during the school day. And so our teachers, I know have mentioned that to our teacher advisory council has, so I appreciate the board taking that action also. And then at this time, I also want to talk to you about the principal hiring process. We had 19 applicants this year that applied to be a principal. We had a great pool of candidates, all 19 were from inside of our school district, assistant principals from here in DeSoto County Schools. They submitted a resume along with their references from the interview committee. We got information or feedback from our principals, feedback from directors along this process. And today, we have 2 new principals that were on the work packet for approval. We just approved them to be a principal for the 22-23 school year. So I'm going to introduce them to you at this time and ask them to come forward. The first principal, she has been an assistant principal at DeSoto Central Middle School for the last 4 years. And she will be the principal of Overland Park Elementary School as Ms. Michelle Corbin.
I just want to take a brief moment and say thank you very much. I've been with DeSoto County Schools for 18 of my 20 years in education, and I've been able to serve the students and staff and faculty of our great district for that time and learn a lot. I do want to recognize I brought some people with me that I learn from daily, and the first one is my mom. Her name is Karen Nielsen, and she teaches me every single day. To this day, she still does. Right next to her, we're just going to go down the way. I know you recognize Miss Rachel Janae. She's our teacher of the year for the district in our school. And as many years as I've been in education, every time I walk into her room, I'm still learning. So she came to support me. I appreciate that. My husband, Brian Corbin, sitting right there. Of course, he always has my back and supports me in everything. Even when I was a kindergarten teacher, he came to school with me to help. So I appreciate that. And then I also want to recognize, I know you know Mr. Brian Williams. He, in the past 4 years at DeSoto Central Middle School, he has been instrumental in guiding me, showing me, and I've learned so much from him, and I appreciate everything that he's done for me. So thank you for this opportunity to continue in support.
Thank you.
My daughter was here, she didn't need to go to work.
Great. Now we have the new principal of Olive Branch Middle School. He's been serving at Fernando High School for the last 8 years. That's Mr. Caleb Shepard.
I appreciate the opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. I've been at Remediation High School for 8 years, South Haven for 30, Clinton for 30 before that. Been in some successful places and learned a lot along the way. A big thanks to Mr. Case for helping me get here, Mr. Russellton. And I want to introduce my wife, Lindsay, and my 2 children, Lisa Grace, my 5-year-old who goes to Lewisburg, and Jet, my 4-year-old who will go to this place. I just absolutely am excited to be here. I'm happy to serve, DeSoto County, happy to be in Olive Branch where I live and, make an impact in my community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Congratulate Ms. Corbin and Mr. Shepherd on their new positions. I know they're anxious to get to work and get to meet their teachers tomorrow at both of those schools tomorrow afternoon. So we're excited for both of them. And that concludes my supervision.
I need a motion for consideration of closed session to determine whether we need to stay for student discipline till Mr. Brown's request to be heard with the determines personnel evaluation for the property contract.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We stand in executive session.